What's up, besties and homies? It's your girl Aisha checking in, back with another video. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Strong Friends Check-In Podcast. I'll start by sending my condolences to Sonya Massey's family and loved ones. May her soul rest in peace. I did not plan to post a video today, but I just feel it's necessary to say something. I keep saying this over and over and over again. This is spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but with powers, principalities, rulers in dark places, and spiritual wickedness in high places. And I continue to say this because I want our people to stop focusing so much on the material world and see what's really happening, what this is really about. It's a battle between good and evil. Sonya Massey discerned that. She discerned that she was face to face with evil. She discerned that the deputy had a sinister or sadistic plan. She discerned that in her spirit. And that's why she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And the enemy responded with a threat, not just to harm her, but to terminate her. Because he too understood that it was spiritual warfare. So we have to stop focusing on all of this surface stuff, shallow stuff, materialistic stuff. And let me say this. This is a prime example of why I don't belong to groups. I don't subscribe to groups. Because I see so many of us advocating and supporting political parties, but what are they doing? What are the political parties doing? What are they doing? Because we have the same issues in this country that we've had since the beginning of time. Neither of the political parties have fixed any of those issues. We have the same problem since the beginning of time. And within the last 10 or 15 years, a lot of those problems have gotten increasingly worse. There is corruption in the healthcare system, corruption in education, corruption in law enforcement, corruption with the justice system, corruption that just permeates the American culture. And we have so-called representatives who are not representing the American people. And so it's always been perplexing to me to see these celebrities that look like us caping for political parties. It's perplexing. But then again, it's not. Because see, again, I go back to spiritual warfare. Most of the celebrities, in my opinion, want to be in that elite group of powers in dark places, rulers of the world, who engage in spiritual wickedness in high places. Those who perpetuate greed, they perpetuate the wealth gap, they perpetuate poverty so that they can hoard greed at the top. The reason you see so many black celebrities caping for political parties is that it benefits them personally. It's for personal gain. It has absolutely nothing to do with the welfare of Black Americans. Homelessness is at an all-time high. The illiteracy rates amongst Black boys, last time I checked, 75%. 75% of Black boys in America can't read. I didn't make it up. Look it up. See, I know the statistics because of what I do. I'm a professional grant writer. I've worked in development a long time. I'm an educator. I have to research. I studied psychology for 6 years. All I did was research and writing. I have to know the stats to raise money for organizations like United Way, organizations that provide healthcare centers, schools, outreach programs. I have to know the stats. So when people say, oh, I represent this party and I represent that party, big deal. Big deal. When people say, oh, I belong to this church and my pastor is such and such, big deal, because you know what? I don't want to see your pastor flying in a private jet. I don't think your pastor deserves a private jet. I don't think he's that important. I don't think he's deserving of a private jet. The job of a pastor is to serve the people, not to fly around in private jets. I don't think your pastor needs a luxury car. A car is a car. As long as it's reliable, why does he need a luxury car? And see, I say these things and I really don't care if you don't like it, because it's the truth. And let me say this. We need to focus less on groups, parties, trying to feel important, because you belong to this group or that group. We need to focus less on that and more on cleaning up our community. And when I say cleaning up, I mean the way that we think. I mean, we're not as united as we should be. We're not. We fuss and argue and fight about the stupidest stuff. Look at the families. Families torn apart. Wives don't want to play their roles. Husbands don't want to play their roles. Children don't want to play their roles. Everybody's out of order. So when people say, oh, this is racism, this is this, and this is that, this is spiritual warfare. It's what it is. All of the isms, every sin you can think of is spiritual warfare. It's a battle between good and evil. And when you are trying to fight systems, you have to educate yourself. You need to know about the economy and how it works. You need to understand how capitalism works, because protesting ain't gonna get it. They don't care if we protest. Really, that just provides the powers more opportunities to criminalize us. Okay, you want to protest? We'll throw you in jail. So that's not going to get it. Complaining and posting hashtags on social media won't get it. There are two things that we can do to make progress and to try to conquer some of these issues, these epidemics that plague our community. Number one, which most people don't want to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway. Stop prioritizing sex. Stop making sex the most important thing in life. And start focusing on marriage, family, and prosperity. Not just success, because success could mean you've got a great career on the police force. I mean, the deputy that unalived Sonya Massey, some people might consider him a success. I'm not talking about success. I'm referring to prosperity. We need strong Black men, strong Black women, and not in the liberal sense, not in the feminist sense, strong as in knowing your role in society and being a support to strong Black men. And we need families, intact families, and we need children who obey their parents and who honor their parents. That's number one. Number two, and we might have to do number two first, but I don't know if that's possible because we're not united. We need families first. Unity starts at home. But I'm just going to say number two. Once you understand the economy, and I suggest you do your research, start doing your research now, you know that although Black Americans are considered lower class, most of us are considered lower class, meaning poor, because even middle class Black Americans are considered low class, okay? We're the biggest spenders. We're the biggest spenders. And most Black Americans do not support Black-owned businesses. We spend the majority of our income purchasing items, meaning items that we don't need, from non-Black companies and corporations. So we complain about the powers that be, yet we continuously spend our money enriching the powers that be. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. They're powerful because we make them powerful. And with all the spending that we do on all of these different name brands and all this stuff, and I'm saying we, but I don't do it. I'm going to keep it real. Never owned a luxury car. I've never purchased a Birkin bag. I don't do it. America is no longer the richest country in the world. We are in trillions of dollars of debt to other countries, primarily China, because your representatives squander the money. So you're spending all this money making the powers rich, richer, wealthier, but then they're squandering the money. That's why 75% of Black boys can't read. That's why homelessness is through the roof. That's why there's a maternal health crisis. That's why we have food deserts. Why should there ever be a food desert anywhere in the United States of America? With all that we pay in taxes and all the money that Black people spend on luxury cars and getting home loans that they can't afford. You see, and this is why I don't even try to help family members. I don't tell them anything. I don't say anything, because you can't tell us anything. You can't tell Black folks anything. Soon as you open your mouth and say, you know what, I don't think you should apply for a loan for a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 house making $25 an hour. I don't think you can afford that. See, as soon as you say that, you're a hater. And then 4 or 5 years later, you're going through foreclosure. Because we don't know economics. See, I tutor economics. I study economics. So I know what I'm dealing with as far as the economy is concerned. So I'm not into trying to stunt and all of that. See, Black people want to stunt and show off on social media. I'm not into that. And so the protesting is cute, but they don't care about protesting. Hashtags, it's cute, but what does it do? It's ineffective. You posted a hashtag, whoop-de-doo. Raising money for political parties. What have they fixed? What have they fixed? Show me the statistics. The same problem since the beginning of time. Nothing is fixed. Still no cure for cancer. Still no cure for AIDS or HIV. But they can send money to other countries for whatever they need or whatever they want. Because a lot of times they're sending money over to other countries for stuff that I don't even think is necessary or important. Immigration is out of control. I mean, it's just loosey-goosey. It's almost like there are no immigration laws now. You know, it's loosey-goosey. And Black people support that. Not all, but most Black people support loosey-goosey politics. And this is the result. Loosey-goosey. Either you support law and order or you don't. Because law and order means that we're going to hold officers accountable as well. Law and order means we're holding officers accountable as well. But when you say you don't want law and order, okay. See, we have to be careful what we say. Again, spiritual warfare, the power of death and life is in the tongue. So we have to be careful what we say. And I also want to mention that officer has a sadistic spirit. And I'm going to post an episode on sadism. I've been planning it for months, but I've been so busy, I haven't had an opportunity to really put it together. Sadism is a major issue in spiritual warfare. And so when I'm dealing with something like that, I like to really take my time with it and put it together and make sure I get all of my thoughts out, or at least most of them. But sadism is the condition of deriving pleasure from inflicting pain onto others. That's sadism. And that officer has the spirit of sadism. And I believe that spirit is common. I believe it permeates law enforcement, the spirit of sadism. It is the condition of deriving pleasure from inflicting pain onto others. So I believe he's a sadist. But again, I don't want to get too far into that. I just wanted to post this message to say, listen, what we're doing is not working. It's not working. Donating money to political parties and joining all these different groups and all these congregations and rallying behind certain politicians and all of that stuff, it's not working. It's not. You can do what you want to do. People can do what they want to do. I'm just telling you, it's not working. The only power that we have is the power to create strong families and the power to withhold the mighty dollar. That's it. That's what's going to make the change. So, if we're not disciplined enough to do that, we're not disciplined enough to say, hey, you know what, this hookup culture and all this stuff, it ain't working. We're more divided now than ever. People talk bad about marriage, but we're more divided now than ever. Where is this era's or this generation's Martin and Coretta? Where are they? What's his name? Jonathan Majors and Megan Good? Okay. So I just want to say we've got to do better. We've got to do better. We've got to get our priorities aligned. We need to educate ourselves. We need to understand our government, the system, the economy, capitalism, how all that works. Get off social media whining and crying and complaining about men ain't this and women ain't that, and educate yourselves. Put something in your heads. It's so much more to life than a lot of the things that we pay attention to, whining and crying and fighting with each other or against each other. It's not effective. It's counterproductive and it's counterintuitive. And it's destroying our community. How can we band together to fight evil, to fight systems that oppress us when we're divided? Let's focus on family, marriage and family, and let's focus on withholding that mighty dollar. Withhold it. Stop spending your money. Every time you get a penny, you got to spend it. So rest in peace to Sonya Massey. I mean, people say they don't believe in God. I mean, come on. Come on. The lady said, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus, or I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And the man shot her in the head. How much proof do you need that this is spiritual warfare? I don't know. Anyway, know that you're worthy. Know that you're loved. Please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, it's your girl, Aisha, signing off.